Have you ever stopped to notice how a world of ancient gods, monsters, and heroes still feels, well, kind of familiar? Today, we're going to dig into how Greek mythology, born thousands of years ago, never really went away. In fact, it's all around us.
So let me ask you this. What do you think the Versace logo, the word narcissism, and the Percy Jackson books all have in common? I mean, they sound totally random, right? But believe it or not, there's a single powerful thread that ties them all together. And that thread, of course, is Greek mythology. And it's wild, because once you start looking for it, you see it absolutely everywhere. It's in the brands we know. Nike isn't just a swoosh, she's the goddess of victory. That Versace logo, that's the head of Medusa. It's all over our entertainment. From a smash hit Broadway musical like Hadestown to a Netflix show like Blood of Zeus. It's literally baked into our language. Every time you say Achilles' heel or talk about narcissism, you're speaking ancient Greek. So how do these stories get such an incredible grip on our culture? To really get it, we have to go back, way back, all the way to the very beginning, to the Greek story of how our entire universe was born from, well, nothing. All right, part 1. In the beginning. This is where it all starts. From chaos. Everything. Okay, so when we hear the word chaos, our minds jump straight to disorder, right? A total mess. But for the ancient Greeks, it was something else entirely. According to the poet Hesiod, chaos wasn't messy at all. It was the start of everything, this huge, dark, empty void. Think of it as pure, raw potential, just waiting for something to happen. And so out of this void, the very first beings just emerge. You have Gaia, the earth, Tartarus, the deep abyss, and Eros, that powerful force of love and desire. Then Gaia, all on her own, gives birth to Uranus, the sky, to be her partner. And together, they create the very first generation of gods, the 12 Titans. And that brings us to part 2, the drama, a war of generations. Because this creation story, it gets messy fast. We're talking about some serious, divine-level family drama. This cosmic power struggle kicks off with absolute tyranny. The first king, Uranus, is terrified of some of his kids, the Cyclopses and the Hundred-Handers, so he shoves them back deep inside their mother, Gaia. As you can imagine, she's in agony, so she convinces her Titan son, Cronus, to do something about it. He ambushes his own father and takes power. But the cycle of violence was just getting started. This all leads to the Titanomachy, a brutal 10-year war where Cronus gets overthrown by his own son, Zeus. And what's so fascinating here, so disturbingly human, is this vicious cycle. You have Uranus, the terrible father, imprisoning his children out of pure fear. And what does his son, Cronus, do when he takes over? He repeats the sin, but even worse. He hears a prophecy that one of his kids will overthrow him, so he just swallows each one whole as they're born. It's this kind of raw, dark drama that makes these myths impossible to forget. And Hesiod's original poem, the Theogony, just nails this tension. It says, "But crafty Cronus, youngest and most terrible of her children, hated his lusty father." I mean, in just that one line, you can feel all the anger and resentment that's about to fuel a cosmic war. But one child got away, the youngest son, Zeus. His mom, Rhea, was desperate. She couldn't stand to lose another child. So she pulls a fast one. She wraps up a rock in a blanket, and Kronos swallows that instead. And this one act of defiance, it changes everything. Zeus grows up in secret, getting stronger, just waiting for his moment to come back and challenge his father. And finally, to break that brutal cycle. After winning that universe-shattering war, Zeus and his siblings established a new world order. The three brothers divided the cosmos up. Zeus, the new king, took the sky. His brother Poseidon got the seas, and the third brother, Hades, became the ruler of the underworld and the dead. The age of the Olympians had officially begun. Which brings us to part 3, the legacy. So, okay, epic stories, but why do they still endure? Why do we still care about this stuff thousands of years later? We have to remember, for the ancient Greeks, these were not just stories. They were essential. They were educational tools that taught you about things like justice and courage. They were your religious guide, explaining why you performed certain rituals. They were social glue, creating a shared identity. And of course, they were the science of their day, giving answers to the biggest question of all. Where did everything come from? And honestly, the reasons they mattered back then are pretty much the same reasons they still hit home for us today. The themes are just timeless. We all understand power struggles, family drama, rebellion, and love. They gave us a language for our own psychology, for things like narcissism. But maybe most importantly, the gods weren't perfect. They were jealous, ambitious, and angry. They were flawed, just like us. And that's the key. That's what makes them so relatable. And you can literally see this legacy just explode over time. It starts small, with a few foundational ancient works from poets like Homer and Hesiod. Then, boom, the Renaissance hits, and that spark ignites thousands of paintings and sculptures. And now, today, in our own pop culture, there are hundreds and hundreds of modern books, films, and games, all telling these same stories in new ways. It all points to this one absolutely incredible conclusion. For the last 500 years, Greek myths have been the most important point of reference for Western culture. Just think about that for a second. 5 centuries. No other collection of stories has had that kind of staying power. So, that leaves us with one final thought. These stories, these tales of cosmic wars and deeply flawed gods, they're thousands of years old. So what does it say about us? About our own ambitions, our own families, our own struggles, that we just can't stop retelling them, and that we keep seeing ourselves in their ancient pages?